Before The Office or Peep Show captured British chaos, Men Behaving Badly defined it. The 1990s sitcom about two hopeless flatmates, beer and bad decisions became the anthem of laddish Britain. Fact 1.
You haven't got any spare tickets for Carmen, have you? I was thinking of asking our new neighbour.
Here we go.
Men Behaving Badly didn't begin with the pair everyone remembers. The very first series starred Harry Enfield as Dermot, but after one season, he walked away, calling the show too blokey even for me. Producers panicked, fearing cancellation, until they found Neil Morrissey, whose scruffy charm transformed the tone completely. When Martin Clunes and Morrissey shared a pint in their first rehearsal, the chemistry clicked instantly. The writers rewrote every script around that new friendship. Fans later said it felt like a different program overnight. Warmer, funnier, and much drunker. Enfield's departure was meant to be the end, but it accidentally created television magic. Morrissey joked years later that he owed his entire career to a man who wanted to go home early. That casting shuffle turned a forgotten sitcom into a cultural juggernaut, proving that sometimes losing your lead actor is the best thing that can happen.
Oh, she smiled at me when I saw her in the corridor this morning.
So you've assumed she wants to sleep with you?
Fact 2.
Ah, waiter. Come to think of it, there's something pretty super in my fly as well.
Off-camera, Martin Clunes and Neil Morrissey were almost as inseparable as their characters. They shared cars, pubs, and occasionally the same hangovers. Crew members said filming Monday scenes often meant working around genuine Sunday exhaustion. Their friendship made the show's timing effortless. Most of the banter wasn't written but improvised between takes. One director said, "You just had to point a camera at them and wait for mischief." They'd challenge each other to slip odd phrases into dialogue without the writers noticing, leading to hidden jokes fans still quote. The laughter you hear on set wasn't canned. It was the crew genuinely cracking up. Their natural chaos gave the series its heartbeat. Unlike many sitcom duos, they never competed for attention. Clunes brought deadpan calm, Morrissey brought gleeful disaster. That balance mirrored real male friendship at its stupid, loyal best.
Hello, big boy sauna club. I'm afraid there's nobody here. Oh, sorry, Mummy.
Fact 3.
Handy through the holy. Now, some technical things first, all right? Now, these are the strings.
The show's upbeat theme, Ooh La La by the Wise Guys, convinced millions it was an original BBC commission. In truth, it was a recycled track that had been lying in a producer's drawer for years. The music supervisor found it by accident while searching for something cheap and cheeky. It wasn't even written for television, but for a short-lived advertising campaign that never aired. Once the tune hit the opening credits, audiences assumed it had been tailor-made for Gary and Tony's antics. When fans later learned the truth, they were shocked that such a perfect fit was pure luck. The song's swagger set the tone for the entire series. Cool on the surface, chaos underneath. Even Morrissey admitted that hearing the first bars made him want to spill a pint immediately. That accidental anthem became one of British TV's most recognisable openings, proof that sometimes the wrong song is exactly the right one.
Now, you get some coming curly, some coming straight. This one's straight.
Fact 4.
You want to?
It's not a question of wanting to. It's my duty as a single guy living in the swinging city.
When the show moved from ITV to BBC One after its second series, executives expected a polite mainstream comedy about flat-sharing adults. What they got was beer cans, burping, and confessions about socks that could walk on their own. Early memos begged the writers to tone down the drinking, but Simon Nye politely ignored them. Instead, he doubled down on the absurdity, giving Britain its first unapologetic celebration of male uselessness. The BBC's concern turned to pride when ratings soared. Critics accused the show of glorifying lad culture, yet audiences recognised the satire. The characters were idiots, not idols. Behind the scenes, the writers called it a sitcom about people who haven't realised they're not 21 anymore. That misunderstanding between network and creator ironically made the series more authentic. By not trying to be respectable, Men Behaving Badly became the perfect snapshot of a decade that valued laughter over logic.
I should have 200 notches in my bedpost. Should look like a notchy thing. Tony's is incredibly notchy.
Fact 5.
No, Gary still likes Cindy Sue for a girl and Scamp for a boy.
Fans assumed Gary and Tony's messy flat was a real apartment somewhere in Croydon, but it was entirely built inside a studio at Teddington. The smell, however, was real. The props department aged everything with stale beer, ketchup and cigarette smoke to make it look and reek authentic. Martin Clunes joked that he never had to act disgusted. The carpet did that for him. Every week the mess grew worse because no one remembered to reset it between episodes. By series 4, the set designer had to replace the sofa after it actually began to rot. Visitors stepping onto the stage said it felt like walking into a student nightmare frozen in time. Yet that chaos gave the show its texture. The flat wasn't just background, it was a character of its own. When production wrapped, the crew refused to dismantle it for weeks, claiming they couldn't face the smell one last time.
Who breaks into people's houses, steals their duvet and their underwear.
Fact 6.
One where two people bounce up and down together with everything flapping about a bit.
Every episode of Men Behaving Badly seemed soaked in lager, but most of the time the cast weren't drinking alcohol at all. The famous pint glasses were filled with a mix of cold tea and apple juice to create that perfect amber glow. Martin Clunes joked that it still tasted disgusting, which helped him act convincingly drunk. Neil Morrissey sometimes forgot and poured the real thing between takes, leading to scenes that went slightly off script. The crew often had to clean sticky puddles from the studio floor after a take went wrong. Their constant toasting and drinking became so natural that fans assumed they were genuinely tipsy. Clunes later said that pretending to be drunk is one of the hardest things for an actor to do. You have to look carefree while concentrating really hard. The realism of their inebriated stupidity was part of the show's charm. Every slurred punchline, every wobbling gesture felt authentic because the actors played it with affection rather than mockery. The show made beer a character in itself, loyal, comforting, and always present, just like an old friend who never gives good advice.
She tried to get me to burn all my favourite nylon shirts.
Fact 7.
Only the gyro come yesterday, so I roasted up a nice bit of tripe to go with it.
Gary and Tony were written as adults who behaved like teenagers, but over time the actors found themselves defending their childishness. They believed the pair's immaturity wasn't laziness but fear of responsibility, men terrified of becoming boring. Martin Clunes described them as the last boys standing at the bar after everyone else has gone home. That emotional honesty kept the comedy from feeling cruel. Even when Gary and Tony acted like idiots, there was always a trace of warmth. They argued about nothing, panicked over commitment, and treated pizza like a food group. The audience saw their own worst habits reflected back at them, but funnier, the writers loved exploring how friendship sometimes replaces adulthood. Many of the best moments came from the quiet loyalty between them, the unspoken bond that said, we may be useless, but we're useless together. That mix of affection and stupidity gave the series heart beneath all the spilled beer.
Only when Tony and I make love in the garden, he tends to scream a bit, don't you?
Fact 8.
Is that your chest, or are you just keeping two really big round things warm for a friend?
While Gary and Tony were the heart of the chaos, Dorothy and Deborah gave the series its soul. Caroline Quentin's sharp wit, as Dorothy made her more than a nagging girlfriend. She was the adult voice surrounded by toddlers in male form. Her chemistry with Martin Clunes was electric, bouncing between exasperation and affection. Leslie Ash, as Deborah, brought an effortless coolness that Tony could never quite handle. Both actresses played the humor straight, grounding the madness with genuine reactions. Some of the best punchlines came from their deadpan looks rather than dialogue. Fans loved that the women weren't background characters but equals in the comedy, sometimes even funnier. Off-screen, the four actors became close friends, often improvising banter that found its way into new episodes. That real connection gave their on-screen relationships a warmth rarely found in sitcoms about romance. Without the girls, Men Behaving Badly wouldn't just have been less funny, it would have been less human.
And then try and work the whole thing up into a relationship.
Fact 9.
Sounds like make me your big toy, Gary.
No prop in Men Behaving Badly became more iconic than that sagging brown sofa. It was the center of almost every scene, a monument to laziness, friendship, and takeaway stains. The production team joked that it should have had its own credit in the titles. Over the years, the actors grew attached to it in a strangely sentimental way. The indentations in the cushions matched their exact sitting positions, like fossils of bad habits. Clunes once admitted he found it comforting, saying, "It smelt like the show. The sofa was so worn by the end that it physically leaned to one side, forcing Morrissey to sit slightly uphill during dialogue. When filming finally wrapped, everyone wanted to keep it, but it was too fragile to move without falling apart. Instead, the crew cut out a square of the fabric and framed it as a memento. That tired old sofa became a symbol of the whole series. Scruffy, comfortable, and impossible not to love.
And me and Les fed him some dodgy lager. He's been up all night. Brilliant.
Fact 10.
Drink. Tony's away on a night shoot and I'm, here.
When the show's final episode aired, fans expected a grand conclusion, maybe even maturity for Gary and Tony. What they got instead was exactly what made the series great. Two men sitting on a sofa, drinking and wondering what to do next. The writers believed that real life rarely ties things up neatly, and neither would their heroes. There were rumours of a spin-off or reunion, but the cast agreed it was better to leave them in their eternal adolescence. Martin Clunes said they wouldn't have changed. They'd still be there, wondering if it's too late for another pint. That bittersweet truth made the finale oddly perfect. There was no moral, no redemption, just friendship, beer, and confusion. The same ingredients that made the show iconic. Fans still imagine Gary and Tony somewhere out there, watching telly, arguing about nothing and refusing to grow up. And that, perhaps, is why Men Behaving Badly never really ended. It simply carried on, forever stuck in the best days of its own foolishness.